Welcome to the Academy of Raya Lucaria. My journey so far has taken me through trials and tribulations, from the petty grave I woke from, literally, through the woodlands and hills of Limgrave, and furthermore through the hellish experience of Stormvale Castle and the most feared enemies of all, birds. But even the most peckish couldn't keep me down, including Margaret the Fell-Omen, birds, Godric the Grafted, and these f***ing birds! Now my path has led me to Liurnia of the Lakes, all the way to the Academy of Raya Lucaria. Nothing can stop me, except maybe if they lock the door. Never thought about that one. But luckily this gentleman took a short nap for eternity, clutching a map that reveals a meeting place that I suspect might help me out. With no time to waste and a seemingly large chip on my shoulder, it's time to take the reins and follow the trail to the meeting place in question. As it turns out, the location is guarded by a dragon named Smo. Sorry, he's actually called Smarg. Posh prick. But as it turns out, you can just run right past and grab the key and avoid the fight altogether. But that's not how I do it. Once the mouth breather is down, I return to the Academy gate and pass through it. Welcome officially to the Academy, hundreds of meters above the ground and filled with the most despicable of beings known to man, mages. Following onwards, my personal space gets violated multiple times, resulting in lessons being taught and fingers being removed. You saw nothing. The labyrinth nature of this place keeps you on your toes, with a variety of enemies to throw at your every move. From ghoulish zombies with sexual attractions to necks, dogs that are definitely not cute, grafted monsters that turn into Gatling guns when they're close to death, and mages that decided they're pussy ass bitches by playing a mage. Rather than trying to play their game, I run ahead and put some walls in between them and my really clappable cheeks. Well, one of the walls I put between them and me consisted of fog, and well, he's not a good boy. After several attempts, mages killing me before I even get in the door, and a quick run to Dontonimo Bay. This video totally brought to you by McDonald's. I return with a vengeance and cut it extremely close, but enough for the woofer to go down, and possibly ruin my chances of coming to Radagon's birthday party. Crossing the courtyard outside isn't as easy as it would appear either, between mages, a massive crab, and an iron virgin. Yeah, according to the wiki, that's actually their name. My mummy issues are perfectly okay, thank you. Heading up the ramp, I see nothing but balls in my future, before seeing more balls because Moongrum teabags me multiple times. Once he's dead, which I took great pleasure in, the elevator takes me to the upper level of the academy, to a door that's not locked thankfully, which I open and walk inside.
Hush, little Calva. I'll soon birth thee anew, a sweeting, fresh and pure. Shall not be disturbed by thee. Send word far and wide of the last queen of Caria, Renala of the full moon, and the majesty of the night she conjureth.
So it turns out I didn't actually kill Queen Renala, the fight was a farce, and instead we're now best friends, and she offers to rebirth me from her egg. Remember those mummy issues I brought up before? Back out of the academy, I take the path straight ahead to the northern side of Liurnia, running into yet another finger reader. Listen, it makes sense, don't question it. She then asks a question: will I recover the two halves of a medallion to use a grand lift ahead to continue, or will I be, totally in her words, a little bitch and take the riverbed down below? Obviously, I'm as stubborn as they come, and I seek to find the two halves of the medallion that she speaks of. Well, it turns out I found the first half quite a while ago, about 30 hours and 1.5 terabytes of footage ago to be exact. Fort Haight, located in the eastern side of Limgrave, which at the time was overrun with Godric soldiers, rats, and another rooster. But instead of a spear, here's the Ash of War Bloody Slash, which by now has become a staple in my toolset. Once the chicken is dead, I climb a short ladder and find the first piece of the Medallion of Dectus. Time to get the second. Welcome to Fort Farith, eastern side of Caelid, and a fantastic example of the New Zealand housing market. Residing here are rats, ghostly knights, and rats with wings. Nothing special except for this bat that happens to sing. Luckily, this one requires less effort than the prior. With a quick run through the bats and a ladder later, the second half is found and I head back to the grand lift in the northern side of Liurnia. But as I'm heading towards the elevator, I notice some peculiar buildings on the left. It's hard to explain why, but I felt drawn to explore them. Screw it, I've been all over the place, why not add one more? As I approach the buildings, a volley of arrows rains from the sky, and I finally find myself inside Career Manor. I hope you have a fetish for hands, by the way, you're going to be seeing a lot of them. Many good spankings later, I'm making my way to the upper levels, spanking back hands, ghostly knights, and a troll that just kinda rolls over for tummy rubs. The boss of this manor, Knight Loretta, also proves to be quite a challenge. Not. And a few seconds later, I walk into Three Sisters. That's not a euphemism, get that out of your head. Hera Dragon takes a spanking, and then I find someone I haven't seen for quite a while. Ranni, the witch. The girl who gave me the bell to summon spirits, turns out is a witch, and she desires a solution that isn't maintaining the status quo, aka anarchy. Okay, maybe not that drastic, but she's sick of management upstairs telling everyone what to do. But she can't do it alone, and I'm the key to it, and she offers an ending to consider. I just doomed us all, didn't I? Back on the path, I march my way proudly towards the grand lift, raise the completed medallion above my head, and before you know it, I'm onto Altus Plateau and stumble onto... Oh, you've gotta be taking the piss. After dispatching Mr. Hands for the second and hopefully last time, I hit the trail until my GPS betrays me, sending me to the Elden Ring equivalent of the 100-acre woods. And by equivalent, I mean it's a complete shit show, filled with numerous hellish monsters like... Oh shit. After staining my blade with something I'd much rather not think about, I find my way back and continue towards the gates of the city, running into more soldiers, being hit by a falling star, and meeting an old friend who bought a friend, and said friend and friend took turns turning me into paste. But the misery doesn't stop there, my friend. Once they're down and you're rewarded with 2 golden seed, a giant Godzilla-sized gargoyle drops from the sky and turns you into a tarnished kebab. And if you run in the opposite direction, you get eaten alive by a massive worm. Call now and be in to win this once-in-a-lifetime experience for you and a friend of your choice. After having my teeth kicked in for a matter of minutes, I arrive, battered, broken, exhausted, at the front door that's locked.
Someone kill me, please.
This time, without a map to guide my path, I was left with the only option I had left. I had to go right. Marching through the remnants of the destruction that I didn't cause for once, of a prior battle, I find a sole survivor standing his ground. Nearing closer, he dropped the facade.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Margit falls so much easier compared to the first time, and I become very confident in my ability as a player. From Software reusing bosses, am I right? Slaughtering the keepers of a nearby minor Erdtree, rewarding me with some upgrades to my wondrous flask, until Mr. 360 No-Scope over here shows off his phase application and I'm knocked off both my horse and my ego down a notch. After getting back on the horse, literally, and speeding past the archers so fast I'll be having an awkward trip to the courtroom later on, I arrive at the side entrance to Leyndell, which happens to be guarded by a tree sentinel that evolved. Despite him trying his hardest to keep me down between lightning strikes, a horse that breathes fire, and the good old go fuck yourself, I put him in the ground where he belongs. And this time, I set my eyes on the gates ahead. Leyndell. Bring it.